Hey guys, Jake from Evolving Daily. You hear a lot on the internet about reasons why you shouldn't train with James Yeager at Tactical Response. I've actually been there, and I don't like to say you shouldn't do something until I at least know a little bit about it. So I went and trained there, and I've come up with 5 reasons why you shouldn't train at Tactical Response. Alright guys, so like I've said, I don't want to bash somebody or bash a training school until I've been there. So I went there, I've taken a couple classes, and I've come up with 5 reasons why you shouldn't go there. We'll start at the top, number 1. So Tactical Response's way of teaching things, I don't think it's not efficient for a shooter. Like, it's not the most efficient way of doing things. There's extra steps. And what I mean, we'll go over like how they reload. Empty. Empty. So they're not efficient, and what I mean by that is like a reload with them is first, if you get a click no bang, it's a tap rack, and then a reload is drop the mag, gun up in front of your face, drop the mag, insert new, and run the slide. But if you're at slide lock, they still teach it the same way. Mag in, run the slide. So that's not the most efficient way to do it. Like, obviously the most efficient way is to put in a new mag and hit the slide release. And they give reasons like, you just in case you don't realize you're at slide lock or this, that, or the other. And for a shooter, like somebody who just plinks at the range, that's not the most efficient. And for a race guy, outrun IDPA, whatever all the other acronyms are, it's not the most efficient. The most efficient way, one thumb, pow, versus a gross motor skill. It's kind of an extra step to some guys. And I've talked about this to a couple other guys, that were taught to do the slide release way. It's not the most efficient for shooters or race guys. But if you're in a real gunfight and you're sweaty or you're just stressed or this, that, or the other, missing that, especially if you hold the gun the way you present it, if you're still holding the gun that way, I'm a fairly good sized dude, and if I'm holding a 17 that way, I got to get down in it without an extended slide release. So if you're a race guy or just a plinker, it's not the most efficient. But if you're a gun, like if you're preparing to defend yourself in like the worst situation you could ever possibly imagine, I would rather ingrain in my brain to do it 100% and not just maybe miss that. It's hard to miss the entire slide. It's fairly easy to miss that. So yeah, they're not the most efficient for somebody who's just wanting to play games, but I don't want to play, like, I don't go to the range and just shoot for fun with a pistol. It's just not that, that's not a big weekend for me. I'm training, or I'm trying to train in case, God forbid, I'm ever in worst case scenario, something malfunctions or I run the slide lock or whatever. I don't want to trust a little fine motor skill over something gross and easy to do. So I like it. I think if you are preparing to defend yourself or you're a gun fighter, then running the slide with your hand is the way to go. So the next thing, extra cost. There is going to be extra cost associated with taking a class at Tactical Response. I've shopped around a little bit. Their prices are comparable to larger schools. Maybe not, the guy down the road that's just an NRA instructor and hasn't really taken many classes. They're more expensive than him. And other places offer a one-day class. But the extra cost that I'm really talking about is when you go and take the class, like fighting pistol or the fight or this or that, while you're there, they're going to test your skills of moving around or doing this, doing that, and they're going to test your mindset and your overall who you are as a person. And you're going to quickly realize that there's a lot of other shit that you need to be focusing on. Like, and not just fighting. But yeah, you need to, tactical response, I think James even says this, they're from 5 feet and out. Like 5 feet away, me to the camera right here, do the things from here and back. They don't get into the hands-on or edge weapons or blunt weapons, whatever you want to call them. They're not the 5 feet and in type. Like they recommend you go somewhere else. And when you're in class and you're doing certain drills and they're talking about, for instances or case studies of stuff that's happened before, that's not their forte. And you'll realize that, like, holy shit, like I really need to get this part figured out. So the extra cost is going to be, I need to do some low light training. I need to do, more medical. I need to do how to clear a room or a building. Room clearing, a lot of people overlook that, but if something goes bump in the night and your kids are 3 doors away from you, how do you move to them? And medical, Jesus God, I mean, everybody needs medical. If you're watching this and you don't have medical training, get some. But there's going to be extra cost because, like, you're going to realize during class, especially the fight, like, holy shit, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. I need to have my affairs in order in case this thing happens and I don't make it out, or I get injured and I'm laid up in a hospital for a week, a month. I can't ever work again. Getting things in order, I mean, there's extra cost definitely in these classes. Some people, I'm sure, take the class and never take anything else again. But a lot of the guys I talk to that have taken their classes, like, it's the start. Like, taking fighting pistol or the fight is like, that's step number 1, and then now you have to run a marathon. And they recommend you go get training, but if you're there and you're really paying attention and taking it seriously, you realize, holy shit, I need to take this, and this, and I need to find somebody to take these classes from, and all this other stuff. So there's going to be a lot of extra cost. Reason number 3, your ego. Your ego is going to get bruised, if not broken. Anyhow, it doesn't matter who you are. You're not going to go to the class thinking you're the best in the world, but you're also going to think, I kind of got, I can hit that little circle and I can keep a pretty tight group and run a gun pretty fast. There's going to be other dudes in the class running faster than you. And whenever you get put under a little bit of stress, or you have to keep walking while you move, or all this realistic stuff that is simulated in class, you can't actually, there's not actually someone shooting at you, but you try to simulate this stuff and your skills just, or things you think you had figured out, they don't work when you need them to, and your ego's going to take a bump, at the very least. And I've talked to dudes who were, in the last class, a Marine or two, an Army guy, medics, and all the things that they thought they had squared away. They're, putting on a tourniquet or whatever, or just their shooting skills. They're like, man, I thought I had this figured out, but I really need to do a lot of work. So your ego is going to be bruised at minimum. Reason number 4. There's probably a better word out there to describe it, but especially the fight is slightly terrifying if you take it seriously. So the fight is force on force scenarios. You've got a Glock 17. It's just blue. The frame is blue. The barrel's different, and it shoots FX rounds. And in that class, it's all situations. You run through scenarios. You're going to the ATM or you're going to the bank or whatever, and they don't tell you this is going to happen, or there's a bad guy in there or whatever. Just, hey, go to the ATM, take out $200, and because you got to go take it to your buddy who needs help, or whatever the scenario would be. And the role players and the instructors do a really good job of, you put on a paintball mask and you're carrying a gun, some shit's about to happen. But they do a really good job of getting you, settled in during the scenario, and you think, oh yeah, this is just like getting high, and you kind of forget that you're in this class, and then all of a sudden, it goes 0 to 100. Or some classes it slowly builds until you're like, man, something weird going on here, and then it all breaks loose, or it doesn't break loose at all. And so I'm a firefighter, EMT. I've been in some pretty sketchy situations. I'm not going to say that I'm 100% in control, but whenever I can go crawl into a burning house, and it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's just I've gotten used to stress because I've been under a lot of it. But they still got you like rattled, or at least me and a couple other guys in class that I talked to about. They were like, man, holy shit, that was fucking intense. One dude had deployed, I forget what branch he was with, but he's been downrange in some shitty situations, and he was still like, yeah, that was fucking intense. So I'm going to say scary, but that's not it's realistic, and it's adrenaline packed, and it'll make you reevaluate a whole lot of things in your life. Not just the shooty, like, oh, I need to be better with drawing. It will do that, but it's also, Jesus God, I need to, like, I should be have my will ready, and I should have this shit lined up, and anyhow. Reason number 4, slightly terrifying, some classes, because it will rattle your brain a little bit. And the last one, reason number 5, there's a very good chance you're going to break some shit, like gear. In the last class, I know of 2 or 3 dudes who broke sights because they had the Glock factory sights, and they were going to do, they were doing a reload or a tap rack, and they broke off rear sights. I think one of them lost a front sight. I broke some mags, some Magpul Glock mags. Had good luck with them, took them to a couple classes, and down there rolling around, getting a little bit of dirt in them and getting them wet, and they just went to shit. Guys figure out that their belt, doesn't really work, or their holster sucks, or you're gonna, and that's another, cost thing. Number 2 was extra cost. You're gonna figure out that some of the shit that you have isn't necessary, like you should have never bought it in the first place. It's just dumb and it doesn't really fill a gap. And you're going to break some stuff, more than likely, if you take enough classes. Broken mags, broken hole or sights, find out the holsters were shit, or a couple holsters I've seen fall apart, like the hardware comes off. I don't know why, but you're going to break some stuff probably. But guys, that's the 5 reasons, and if you haven't figured it out by now, kind of a little bit of a troll video. But they offer quality training. I've probably got, if I totaled up, I guarantee I would have easily over 500 hours worth of classroom training for, EMT, firefighter, hazmat, confined space, firefighter survival, all these classes, and they're taught by different places, different people, and it's a pretty serious subject. I didn't have bad training when I had, my emergency classes, I guess you'd say, but the instructors at Tactical Response are some of the best instructors I've worked with, and both instructors, fighting fire, life or death, Tactical Response, life and death. You would think the instructors would be about on the same level. Tactical Response is far and above. The instructors read students very well. Like, you've probably seen a video where, some instructors yelling at somebody, tell them to keep moving or whatever. What you don't see is the other ones where, they come up and pat on the back, well, what you might try to do is, and that's not a roll of the dice. That's not just because it was a Tuesday, they approach students different. They read the students quickly, like halfway through day 1, they've got it figured out, like, this guy needs a stern kick in the ass, kind of get your head out of your ass and go do things. Do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And then they've read this other person that, they probably won't respond very well to that. They need, not coddled, but a little like, come on, we can do it. Just try doing this. Come on, just try. And they don't they don't fiddle fuck and just they don't dwell on stuff that doesn't matter, and they don't repeat subjects. I've taken fighting pistol and way of the pistol, which way of the pistol is fighting pistol, advanced fighting pistol, and a fifth day of, I don't know what you would call it, the fifth day of way of the pistol. And a lot of classes, think back to when you're in school, if you take a subject this year and then you take it again next year, the first, at least quarter of the year, they're repeating shit from last year. They don't do that in advanced fighting pistol. It's like if you didn't practice your stuff and research and keep it fresh in your mind, you're not going to relearn it here. Like, if shit or get off the pot, do the things you're supposed to be doing, because nothing was repeated. Everything was build on, build on, build on. And guys, I would say the value's, I mean, it's there. It's definitely worth the money. I know it's expensive. Trust me. I don't make a lot of money. I scrape to get to classes, and the value's there. Like, I'm 3 weeks after taking away the pistol, and my head's still like halfway through the day, just randomly it'll pop in like, oh yeah, I can see where this and that. Like, you're still decompressing stuff, for a month maybe. I don't know. Everybody's different. And the fight, I think about the fight daily. And there's one thing from fighting pistol that I think about daily, and that was 2 years ago. The first time I took it. Like, I can close my eyes and I can see the instructor standing there, his assistant standing there, and all the students that went before me over here. I'm there, and it comes up. It's a mindset. Just take the class and you'll figure it out. It's a huge thing, and I think about it a lot. But guys, the value's definitely there. Your brain will be rattled with so much shit that you've learned or figured out. Oh, this is why you do this and not that, or whatever. That's as much rambling as I feel like doing right now. I could sit here, if there was someone sitting right here, I could talk to them all day about why you should go there. But figured I'd make a little troll video, get some people pissed off and fired up. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. If you're an alumni, leave it in the comments. That way people can read that, yeah, other people have taken it and they agree or disagree, whatever. But guys, I do appreciate you watching. And remember, you always need to be prepared to thrive while others survive. Thanks.